Welcome back to another episode of In the Zone, brought to you by the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. And thanks so much for the overwhelming response to the first few episodes of In the Zone. As a reminder, if you haven't yet subscribed to the Elk 101 YouTube channel, do that now and make sure you click the little bell so that you get a notification every time a new episode of In the Zone is released. And be sure and share this with your elk hunting friends, as we're still trying to grow our subscriber list. In this episode, I'm going to revisit one of the most magical elk seasons I think I've ever had the fortune of being a part of. In 2016, we were invited to be a part of a really awesome elk hunting video project titled The Linguist. And through that project, I had the opportunity to sit down with some of my elk hunting legends as we explored the history of elk calling. And I got to visit with guys like Larry D. Jones and Wayne Carlton and Will Primos. Fortunately, we were also able to get into some really incredible elk calling action as part of this film project. And on this particular hunt, Donnie and I have located a bugling bull, and we've worked our way down the hillside so we're straight across from the bull. It's mid-morning and the thermals have switched and are moving steadily up the hill toward us. However, there's the large meadow between us and the bull, which will make it really difficult to call the bull straight in to where we're at. Additionally, the uphill thermals will make it nearly impossible for us to cross the draw and get on the same side as the bull. These calling situations usually result in a stalemate, as the bull knows he has the advantage by staying on his side of the draw, and we know that if we try to go to him, we're going to get busted by his sense of smell. The next time the bull replied, we could tell he was straight across the open meadow from us and most likely not going to approach us by just walking out into the middle of the opening. As the caller, I needed to relocate, and I needed to relocate fast to redirect the bull and pull him out to our right and keep him along the edge of the timber, hopefully where he'd feel more comfortable coming in. I also needed to keep hidden just behind the small knoll I was calling from to ensure the bull couldn't see exactly where the calls were actually coming from. If the bull was to come straight into our initial position and straight out into the open, he'd have a huge visual advantage, and we'd be pinned down visually without the bull needing to come any closer. Relying only on his vision, he'd most likely hang up across the meadow and definitely not drop down into the draw and the brush to come any closer. However, I had been able to move to the right and behind Donnie, and we now had a pretty decent line to pull the bull across the edge of the meadow and make it feel like he didn't have to walk out into the wide open to come into the setup. Once the bull stepped out into the open, I could see that we needed to pull him even a little more to the right to get him into the timber and then keep him coming straight towards us instead of going out into the open. Getting the bull into the timber would eliminate the possibility of him being able to see our exact calling location, and it would force him to come in closer before he got an actual visual on where we were at. By putting the bull on a line that would bring him into the timber, I've eliminated the biggest factors that would potentially work against us, and now it's just a matter of coaxing him in or challenging him in the rest of the way. The other benefit of pulling the bull even farther to the right is that we've now created an easy path for him to come in on and directed him around the huge wall of brush in the bottom of the draw that would have likely kept him from coming all the way into our setup. Once I'm able to confirm that the bull stepped into that timber funnel and is heading our way, it's simply a matter of reeling him in right into Donnie's lap. The bull's taken the bait and he's now in our funnel and committed. We've guided him to the path of least resistance and basically removed any of the obstacles that might have caused him to hang up. We've also been able to remove his sensory advantages while still making him feel like he's safe and protected. There's a gap in the thick brush here in the bottom of the draw, and the small ridge between me and the bull is going to force him right into our setup where Donnie's waiting with a nocked arrow. What an awesome hunt. And fortunately, we had the terrain we needed to be able to call this bull right into our setup. It's important to remember that elk are less likely to expose themselves and walk across a wide open meadow when they're coming to the calls. If you're able to guide them along a path that makes them feel like they're safe and protected, they're going to be more likely to continue coming in. This means that as the caller, you're often going to need to be very dynamic and move around considerably behind the scenes to continue guiding the bull where you want him to go and where he feels safest going. Keep in mind, the end goal isn't to bring the bull into you as the caller, but to put that bull into the setup where your hunting partner is positioned and waiting. For more information on elk and elk hunting, including strategies and tactics for calling in those wise old public land herd bulls, be sure and check out the University of Elk Hunting online course. And if you're ready to sign up, feel free to use the discount code INTHEZONE, all one word, to save $20 when you sign up. Just click the little info link right up here or visit elk101.com for more information. And we'll see you right back here for another episode of In the Zone. The success rate for public land do-it-yourself elk hunters hovers around 10%. The reality of that statement is that 9 out of 10 elk hunters each fall fail to fill their elk tag, or the average elk hunter only fills their elk tag once every 10 years. But average no longer applies to you. The University of Elk Hunting online course was created with one purpose: to provide you with all the resources and information you need to maximize your elk hunting success. This course covers everything from the very basics all the way through detailed and advanced elk hunting tactics and strategies. The University of Elk Hunting online course contains 17 modules of elk hunting information, organized into 54 chapters covering every imaginable topic related to elk hunting. It's truly the most complete and comprehensive resource available for elk hunters. If you're ready to take your elk hunting success to the next level and crush the averages, sign up for the University of Elk Hunting online course today.